Hey, what's up? I'm here in the heart of Osaka, Japan at Sakuranomiya Park. And the reason this park is noteworthy is because it's one of the best viewing spots for cherry blossoms in Osaka, Japan. And this place is amazing. I came here last year and the blooms are absolutely beautiful. Now, I'll tell you, I'm a bit early for the cherry blossom blooms in this particular park because the full blooms will occur 1 week from now, but I just wanted to give you some background about the cherry blossom season here in Japan. Now, some historical context. This really has ties, the cherry blossom season, or Hanami as the Japanese call it, to really sort of Japan's early history or ancient history. It goes back to the 8th century during the Heian period, where Japanese aristocrats would sit under the cherry blossoms and they would compose poems and also songs, and then also just enjoy the atmosphere of the cherry blossom season. And this is carried forward to the 16th century, to the Edo period, when many Japanese samurai would enjoy the cherry blossom tradition in similar fashion, sitting under the cherry blossom trees and just really taking in the atmosphere. In the modern day, the Japanese enjoy the Hanami tradition of Sakura, cherry blossoms, in a similar fashion to that of the Heian period and the Edo period, where they gather with family, friends, and even co-workers and find a beautiful viewing spot for cherry blossoms. And this can be places that they've enjoyed over the course of their lives, or just picking a new place where the cherry blossoms are really famous for all their beauty and all their grandeur. And so that's what I want to bring to you in this particular video. Now, one thing to know, I did mention that it is early in the cherry blossom season, but I promise that I will bring you the cherry blossoms in full bloom in all their grandeur so that you can see them and really appreciate them through, one, my lens, and then also that of the Japanese. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been in Japan for nearly 6 years, and year after year, I've really grown to appreciate this tradition. One, because I have a connection to it from my mom's affection for cherry blossom season. Now, the thing that I've really grown to enjoy is, again, seeing Japanese enjoy the tradition year after year, and then also really getting a chance to explore various places where the cherry blossoms are in bloom. And I have my favorite places, which I'm going to show you in this video. And so that's really what the tradition means for me here, to embrace that tradition almost as if it's something that's very sort of natural to me, much like the Easter holiday or even some of the other holidays like Thanksgiving. It's a very big holiday for me. And so being that I don't get to enjoy the traditional Western type of holidays, this here, the cherry blossom season here in Japan is really special for me. As you might know, the cherry blossom tradition does extend to the West, and notably the United States, where I'm from. This was a gift from the Japanese to the United States in the 1960s, and they are prominent in the tidal basin in the Washington, D.C. area. And so that is the significance of this tradition as it extends to Western culture. And there are the traditions in parts of the U.S. where there are cherry blossom festivals, notably, again, in the Washington, D.C. area, and I also believe in New York City. So Hanami, or cherry blossom season, or Sakura, whatever you like to call it, or you might hear about it in its different forms among Japanese, this obviously is a celebration of spring because the cherry blossoms are only in bloom for a short time. So this is really important for Japanese as it relates to, one, appreciating cherry blossoms, but then also the fragility of life. And I think for me, obviously, some things I didn't recognize when my mom was here was how important some of those times were with her, or those moments. And now that she's gone, obviously, I find myself thinking about her a lot. And I think it's really taught me to appreciate just the little things in life. Cherry blossom season, as I mentioned, just the ability to celebrate at the various beautiful places, the scenery, as you've seen in this video. So that's been a really big lesson for me. Now, obviously, I would love to have my mom back and be here to experience this with her, but I certainly carry on her memory and as I said, just try to enjoy this as fully as possible. So there's some other things to know about cherry blossoms as well. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because maybe you like cherry blossom season, or just some things to know as it relates to the spirit of the season. So number one, cherry blossom trees are aging. They're roughly 50 to 70 years old. This is when they really sort of became something that the Japanese started to plant post-war, World War II. Now, the other thing to remember about cherry blossoms is that you're not supposed to prune them. They don't actually like being pruned, but because of their age, they do need a lot of care and attention. And really, 70 years is the end of their useful lives. So we're getting to a point where cherry blossoms do need to be replanted, and there's often not the investment in planting new cherry blossom trees. So when you see proposals for annual budgets year after year, for example, typically the option is to maintain and care for the existing cherry blossoms rather than plant new cherry blossoms. There's also another key detail as it relates to cherry blossoms. Even though they are aging and they do need care, many Japanese don't want to replace the cherry blossoms. They enjoy them as they are. There's a proverb that says, "Only a fool cuts a cherry tree." They simply want to see cherry blossoms old or withering. That's really the preference. It's really something that holds a dear place in their heart, because many of them grew up with these cherry blossoms, especially when we talk about places to view cherry blossoms, places that people regard as quite beautiful or traditional for Japanese. So that's another aspect as it relates to cherry blossoms as we know them. Then the other aspect as it relates to cherry blossoms as well is the aesthetic. So typically Japanese do favor the pale variety or the pink variety of cherry blossoms rather than the deeper color. So when you look at some of the things as it relates to Japanese culture or art or fashion, and you see the cherry blossom, typically the preference or the example that you'll see is the pale cherry blossom. That again aligns very much with the Japanese aesthetic. So what I wanted to bring to you in this video was really the significance of Sakura, Hanami, or cherry blossom season. I never imagined from my childhood that I would be here in Japan right now and really looking forward to cherry blossom season to come. As I said, we didn't get to see cherry blossoms in all their glory, but this is Sakuranomiya. It is one of the most popular places to view cherry blossoms, as I mentioned. So if you're coming to Osaka, especially during this time of year, you should check out Sakuranomiya Park. Also, as I mentioned, I am going to visit my favorite cherry blossom viewing spots, and I will be bringing that to you in the next video. And who knows, maybe I'll check out a new spot this year, but it is hard for me to give up on my existing spots that I really love. But let me know what you think. If you have any questions about cherry blossoms, especially here in Japan. If you enjoy the cherry blossom season, I will be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching.